They say you always remember the moment your life shifts. Sometimes it's a car crash. Sometimes it's a wedding. For me, it was a slow nod from a man in a navy suit, followed by a name I'll never forget for all the wrong reasons. Jackie. My name is Thomas Green. I'm 52 years old, or young, depending on how you look at it. For the last 26 years, I've been the director of operations at Halberd & Finch, a mid-sized logistics firm in Chicago. Not flashy, not Fortune 500, but stable, respected, reliable, like me. I've shown up early for nearly 3 decades. I've never taken a sick day that wasn't a hospital-mandated emergency. I've trained 5 department heads, supervised 6 reorgs, and held the company together during the pandemic, while upper management scrambled to pivot. My title never changed. My paycheck grew just enough to keep me comfortable, but not complacent. The carrot was always just ahead. Next quarter, they'd say, you're on the list. So when I walked into the Monday morning all-hands meeting, tie straight, coffee in hand, I wasn't anxious. I was ready. Word had been circulating for weeks. Randall, our VP of strategy, was retiring. Quietly, of course. The announcement would be internal. No drama. A formality. Everyone expected me to be tapped as his replacement. Everyone. I took my usual seat near the end of the table, close enough to be seen, far enough to observe. Jackie breezed in a few minutes late, laughing about something with Susan from marketing. She didn't even carry a notepad, just her phone and a smoothie. Jacqueline Halberd, to be exact, had been with the company a grand total of 3 months. Fresh from some overpriced MBA program, she'd been brought in as a strategic consultant. Her last name wasn't coincidence. She was Mark Halberd's daughter. Mark, our CEO, my boss. Mark cleared his throat at the head of the table. The room fell silent. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'll keep this short. As you've probably heard, Randall is stepping down after an incredible career. We wish him all the best in retirement. With that, I'm thrilled to announce his successor, someone with a fresh vision, high energy, and a real understanding of where this company needs to go. My spine straightened. This was it. Please join me in congratulating Jackie Halberd, our new Vice President of Strategy. I didn't blink. I couldn't. For a second, I wondered if I'd misheard him. Maybe he meant she'd be assisting the new VP. Shadowing. Learning the ropes. But then I saw her stand up. Saw him smiling at her like a proud father at graduation. The room clapped. Hesitantly at first, then louder, like they were trying to drown out the silence coming from my side of the table. I looked around. Not one pair of eyes met mine. People I'd mentored, trained, covered for. People I'd defended in budget meetings and stuck my neck out to promote. Thanks, Dad, Jackie chirped. Just like that. No pretense, no professionalism. Just, thanks, Dad. And he laughed. You earned it, kiddo. I stared down at the table. My knuckles had gone white around my coffee cup. I loosened my grip before the ceramic cracked. He went on about vision, innovation, family values. The words floated past me like smoke. All I could think about was the time I worked through my wedding anniversary to finish a quarterly analysis Mark had forgotten was due. Or the Saturday mornings I showed up to help maintenance clear the snow because the budget wouldn't allow for overtime. 26 years. And that was the thanks. The meeting ended. People filtered out with plastic smiles. Jackie hugged her dad in full view. I stood, walked to my office, and closed the door behind me. I didn't sit. I opened the bottom drawer of my desk, where I kept a folder labeled Someday. Inside was a blank resignation template I'd downloaded 10 years ago. I filled it out in less than 5 minutes. No anger, no edits. In the break room, I poured myself another cup of coffee and sat at the far table. The buzz of conversation faded as people noticed me. A few offered sympathetic glances. No one said a word. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was untethered. Like the gravity holding me to this place had quietly disappeared. I reviewed the letter once more. Short. Respectful. Final. Then I stood, straightened my tie, and walked to the executive suite. Mark's door was open. He looked up from his monitor, still grinning from the morning announcement. Tom, hell of a morning, huh? I stepped in, placed the letter on his desk, and met his eyes. "Congrats to Jackie," I said. He looked down at the paper, expecting a memo, or maybe a thank you. His brow furrowed. Then he read the header. His face tightened. "Is this a joke?" he barked. I smiled. For the first time that day, I really smiled. The second the words left his mouth, "Is this a joke?" I knew he'd take it personally, but I wasn't expecting the door to slam hard enough to rattle the picture frames. Mark stalked back to his desk, like I'd lit a match, and dropped it into his family's legacy. "You're seriously resigning? Now?" His voice rose fast, climbing toward hysteria. "Do you have any idea what kind of position this puts me in?" I leaned back, calm. "You mean the position Jackie just got promoted into? Seems like a great opportunity for her to prove herself." He looked like he wanted to throw something. "Don't you pull that tone with me, Tom. This isn't just some job you're walking away from. We're in the middle of the third quarter. The projections, the Travaco account, the Easton merger prep." I held up a hand. "And you made all those decisions knowing I'd be here. Funny, you just named 4 things you never even asked Jackie about." "She's still learning. She's the VP now." That stopped him. His jaw worked like he was chewing on gravel. The silence stretched, thick and uncomfortable. I thought he might back down, say something rational, but instead, he lunged forward and slammed his palm on the desk. "This is you being emotional." I laughed, loud, full-bodied. It felt good. "Emotional? You're shouting in your office like someone kicked your dog. I'm sitting here calmly telling you I'm done. You're doing this to punish me." I stood. "No, Mark, you punished me. Every year you promised the next rung up the ladder. Every time I pulled your ass out of a fire while you were teeing off at the country club. Every late night I spent fixing your messes. And every single time I stayed. I worked harder. I waited. And you gave it to your daughter after 3 months. 3 dollars. He paced like a caged animal. "You don't understand. She's got vision. She's your daughter," I snapped. "She gets to play VP with training wheels, while you still expect me to steer the bike." He rubbed his temples. "You're blowing this out of proportion. We could have had a conversation." I did. For 26 years I had that conversation with you. Through performance reviews, salary freezes, headcount cuts, I stayed. I delivered. And you never once followed through. He looked at me, suddenly desperate. "You want a counteroffer? Is that what this is?" That hit a nerve. I clenched my fists. "You think this is about money?" He went quiet. Then, just as suddenly, he barked, "Fine. HR. We'll do this by the book." He picked up the phone, jabbed the intercom. "Sandra, get Mitchell from HR up here, now." I sat again, folding my hands. "You think this is the first time I've considered leaving?" His eyes narrowed. "You remember the 2014 Westbridge crisis? When you were unreachable in Aruba for 5 days? I stayed. I handled it. The CFO called me a hero in front of the board." He flinched. "Or when your son locked himself out of that internship you promised him, and I rearranged the whole department to make it work." His face reddened. "I kept this company running while you coasted. You thought I was too loyal to leave. You were wrong." There was a knock at the door. Jackie stepped in, awkward and wide-eyed. Dad, HR said they'll be up in 10. What's going on?" He didn't even look at her, just gestured toward me like I was a bomb someone needed to defuse. "Ask Tom. He wants to torch his career today." She turned to me. "You're really quitting?" I gave her a kind smile. "Congratulations on the promotion." She blinked, unsure if it was sarcasm. Then her gaze dropped to the resignation letter still lying on the desk. The silence between all 3 of us buzzed like static. I could feel Mark fuming beside me, puffing like a broken furnace. "You'll regret this," he muttered, voice low and dark. I stood and offered my hand. I already regret staying this long. I got in early my last morning. Old habit, the kind you don't break overnight, even when you've quit. The office was still dark, only the exit signs and my memories lighting the way as I walked down the hall. The place looked different already, like it belonged to someone else. My nameplate still sat on the edge of my desk, straight and proud, like always. I slid it off, stared at it for a beat, then set it down gently in the drawer. Let someone else take that space. Maybe Jackie would turn it into a potted plant stand. I didn't pack fast. I took my time. Everything I did that morning felt like a ritual. Unplugging the mouse I brought from home because I hated the company-issued one. Folding the blazer I kept on the back of my chair in case someone important showed up. That damn coffee mug from the 10-year anniversary party, still flying with Halbert and Finch? What a joke. I dropped it in the trash. Some people walked by my office. A few paused like they wanted to say something, but none of them came in. Not at first. They gave me the same look you give a guy cleaning out his locker after a losing season. Sad, but relieved it's not them. Around 9:30, Darren from finance peeked in. "Hey man, just wanted to say, I'm sorry." I nodded. "Thanks." He stepped closer, slid a folded post-it onto my desk. "You deserved better," it read. I didn't say anything, just tapped the corner in appreciation. He left without waiting for a reply. I opened my bottom drawer last, the one labeled Ideas, a thick folder nearly bursting. Project proposals, process improvements, strategy notes. All of it reviewed, revised, and quietly shelved over the years. Too risky, too not now. I thumbed through a few of them, feeling like I was flipping through someone else's potential. I left the folder behind. No one needed my vision now. They had Jackie's. By noon, the energy in the office had shifted. Word had spread. People kept their heads down. A few sent chat messages. "Sorry to see you go. Hope we stay in touch." Some meant it. Most were just covering their bases in case I ended up somewhere powerful. I walked the halls like a man touring his childhood home before it sold. Every corner had a story. That scuff on the break room door? From the time Phil kicked it in frustration during the logistics software crash. The tiny chip on the boardroom table? Mine. Dropped my wedding ring during a late-night call with Singapore. I passed the Employee of the Month wall. My name was there 11 times. They stopped doing it a few years ago. Said it created unnecessary competition. I always thought it just made it harder to pretend I wasn't out working everywhere. Past the break room fridge, still humming like always. I'd stashed thousands of turkey sandwiches in that thing. Leftover birthday cake, emergency energy drinks. 4 CEOs had come and gone while I used that fridge. But it never forgot me. Then the framed company values poster outside the HR wing. Integrity, respect, growth. I helped draft that. Late 2008. They brought in a consultant to realign our vision. I wrote the bullet points myself, believing every damn word at the time. Now it just looked like corporate wallpaper. I stopped outside Mark's office, but didn't go in. I'd already had my say. Jackie's voice drifted from inside, light and rehearsed, talking strategy, like it was all just a game. I didn't knock. Back at my desk, the last box was sealed, just the essentials. I left my access badge beside my keyboard and turned off the lamp. No goodbye email, no farewell speech, just silence. That felt right. As I made my way to the elevators, a few people popped up from behind their screens. "Take care, Tom. Best of luck. You'll kill it out there." Out there. Like I was being released from prison. The elevator dinged. I stepped in, hit the ground floor button, and leaned back. I expected to feel empty, maybe even regret. But what I felt was light. Like I'd just shed a skin I never realized was choking me. Then, just before the doors closed, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. LinkedIn, one new message. From Cynthia Ashford. Subject, let's talk. "Hey, I heard about what happened. Their loss. I've got an offer for you. Let me know if you're open to a chat." The doors slid shut. I stared at the message. Then, for the first time in a long time, I let myself smile without forcing it. Downtown was buzzing when I stepped out of the Uber. People rushing between meetings, eyes glued to screens, espresso in hand, all chasing someone else's deadline. I used to be one of them. Now I was standing still. No lanyard, no briefcase, no conference call waiting. Just me, a pressed shirt, and a message that had changed the direction of my life. "I've got an offer for you." That's what Cynthia wrote. We met at a corner cafe near LaSalle. She was already seated outside, dressed sharp, phone flipped face down, a sign of respect in a world that rarely offered it. She stood and gave me a firm handshake. "Tom Green," she smiled. "Still the guy who saved our supply chain during the blizzard of 2013. I chuckled. Guilty. We sat. She didn't waste time. "I've started my own firm, small but growing. We're drowning in logistics issues. I need someone smart, seasoned, and calm under pressure. You came to mind before I even finished reading the news." I nodded, unsure of what to say. She sipped her coffee. "It's flexible. Part-time, remote. You set your own hours. Compensation would be, well, let's just say, more than Halbert and Finch ever thought you were worth." She slid a folder across the table. I opened it. She wasn't lying. Triple, maybe more, depending on performance. No office politics, no dress codes, no bosses. "I appreciate it," I said slowly. "It's just, I've never worked for myself." She leaned back. "Then it's about time." Later that day, I walked through Millennium Park and sat on a bench facing the water. My mind went to all the things I'd missed. The school plays I half-watched on Zoom. The vacations I canceled, just until the next quarter ends. The nights I came home after dinner was cold, and my son was already in bed. I took a deep breath and called Cynthia. "I'm in." From that moment on, everything changed. I spent the next few days learning how to build a basic website. Nothing fancy, just my name, credentials, a few bullet points, a contact form. I registered an LLC under Green Solutions. The name wasn't clever, but it was mine. Then the referrals started. Old colleagues, clients, even competitors. They reached out, some out of surprise, others out of respect. Turns out, when you stop being invisible inside a company, people start noticing what you're capable of. I didn't chase anyone. I didn't need to. I picked my clients. I picked my hours. I worked from my back porch, or a cafe, or not at all. I had mornings now. Real ones. With breakfast that wasn't eaten in a car, and coffee that didn't taste like burnt guilt. For the first time in years, I heard birdsong in my own neighborhood. I remembered what silence sounded like. I slept better. I smiled without thinking about what would break next. I made more money in 3 months than I did in my last year at Halbert and Finch. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about ownership of my time, my energy, my worth. One morning, while finalizing a client audit, I got a message from a recent grad I once mentored during her internship. She'd been offered an underwhelming entry-level role and wanted advice. I met her for coffee. Then, another reached out, and another. I didn't realize how much I missed that part. Teaching, guiding without an angle, without trying to get ahead. So I made time for it. Real mentorship, no buzzwords, no politics. I reviewed resumes, taught interview skills, told them the truths I wish someone had told me at their age. No nepotism, no empty promises. I was building something. Slowly, intentionally. Something I could be proud of. Then, one evening, while winding down with a book and a glass of red, my phone buzzed on the table. An email. I almost didn't check it, but the subject line made my stomach tighten. From Jackie Halbert. Subject: "Can we talk?" I stared at the screen for a full minute. The wine didn't taste so smooth anymore. She chose a quiet cafe on the north side, one of those trendy spots with Edison bulbs and brick walls, like ambiance could erase awkwardness. I arrived 5 minutes early, because after 26 years of being dependable, some habits stick. She was already there, hunched over a cappuccino, staring into the phone like it held answers. "Tom," she said, standing as I approached. Her voice had none of the chirp it used to, just weight, exhaustion. I nodded and shook her hand. It was cold. We sat. The barista brought over water without asking. I didn't order anything. Jackie looked thinner, not unhealthy, but worn down in a way no highlighter or tailored blazer could hide. Her eyes were tired, ringed in sleepless purple. Her hands fidgeted with the sleeve of her cardigan. I waited. Finally, she sighed. I wasn't ready. I raised my eyebrows, but said nothing. She continued. Dad said I'd have support. That you'd probably stay. And when you didn't, her voice faltered. He didn't train me. He just dropped everything on my desk and left for a conference in Lisbon. I couldn't help it. I gave a small, humorless laugh. That sounded like Mark. I've been drowning, Tom, she said quietly. I spend most days pretending I understand the reports I'm signing. I have no idea what half the acronyms mean. I thought I could learn on the fly, but God, this isn't school. This is a machine, and I'm jamming it up. I nodded slowly. It is a machine, but I ran it without a manual for 2 decades. She looked up at me, something breaking in her eyes. I think you should have had the job. I met her gaze. I know. That hung in the air between us. Not bitter, just true. She swallowed and looked away. I didn't ask for it, she said quickly. He called me one day and said, I need someone I trust, someone with our name. You'll figure it out. And I didn't say no. Of course you didn't, I said gently. Who would? There was a long pause. The hum of the espresso machine behind us filled the silence. Then she pulled a folder from her bag and slid it across the table. Dad doesn't know I'm here, but I wanted to ask, would you come back? Not full-time, consultant maybe. Help me stabilize things. Show me what I don't know. I stared at the folder but didn't touch it. You really want me back? She nodded. You're the only person who ever knew how everything worked. I leaned back, arms crossed. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not coming back. Her shoulders slumped, just slightly. Why? Because I'm finally happy, I said, with no malice, just truth. I'm working on projects I care about. I sleep. I see my family. I eat lunch without checking my inbox 5 times. I'm mentoring people who want to grow, not play games. She blinked quickly, and for a moment, I thought she might cry. I didn't know it would feel like this, she whispered. Being in charge. I thought it would feel powerful. It doesn't, I said. It feels like weight. You carry the failures. You shield your team. You make sacrifices no one sees. And when it works, someone else gets the credit. She nodded, wiping the corner of her eye. I don't blame you, I added. You didn't make the decision. Your father did. But when he passed me over, when he acted like 26 years didn't count, it broke something in me. Something that won't be fixed with a paycheck. I'm sorry, she said, voice small. I mean it. I know. We sat in silence for a while. 2 people from different worlds forced together by one man's pride. I think in that moment, she saw the cost of what her last name bought her. Eventually, I stood. She didn't try to stop me. I hope you figure it out, I said, sliding the untouched folder back to her. The company still has good people. They deserve someone who gives a damn. She nodded. Thank you, Tom. I walked out into the afternoon light. The breeze felt warmer than it had in months. There was no badge in my pocket, no looming deadline, no performance review waiting to blindside me. Just sunlight, open time, and the next thing I chose. At the crosswalk, I looked back through the cafe window. Jackie sat alone, staring at the folder, her cappuccino untouched. Maybe she'd make it, maybe not. That was her journey now. Mine was just beginning. Congrats to Jackie, I smiled to myself. She can have the office. I've got the world.